Time for part 7 of Luke, and this will be chapter 4, verse 21. Jesus just read from the book Isaiah, and told them from today this prophecy will be fulfilled. From today, not today, this scripture has been fulfilled. It hasn't been fulfilled yet. This is the year of our Lord. That just came from the last video. And they were speaking, this is not really needed, but here, this is the people. I want to point out to the Trinitarians, the people at that time didn't call him the virgin's birth, okay? The people were calling him from his own hometown, Joseph's son. So if they were supposed to be the virgin birth, then they wouldn't have said this. Some things were in the text that just counter. Jesus tells us that there's no, or tells us what is Holy Spirit. That video is below. Then he told them, they will say, not quote this proverb, there's no proverb here, will say to me, doctor, heal yourself. And it's not going to, this is not what they're going to say, though. Not for healer. This word is going to be healer. Healer. And it's not going to be, let's do this. It's going to be healer. Because they're going to talk about this when he's on the cross, and the high priest is going to say, you can save yourself now. So it's going to be save yourself or help yourself. I'll put help. Because that would be the intent of what Jesus is telling them that's going to happen. So now we have more truthful. Wow. Didn't get to the button in time there. Sorry about that. Let's see. Like we heard you done by Copernicum. Jesus does a lot of healing and teaching by Copernicum. Copernicum, where's Copernicum? Let's go right here. He's going to pick up the disciples, heal a lot of people, and he's going to go across here. He's going to heal that guy, the legion, guy with the legion, and they're going to come back, and then he's going to feed many people here, and I think he feeds many people up here. But the object here is this is where Copernicum is at, and this is where he's going to, the people are coming to him to be healed. To here hometown as well. No, that was not said. We don't have any of those verses. In fact, they rejected him at his hometown, which goes to when Philip is being asked by Nathan. I believe it's Nathan. saying that we found the one who Moses talked about. Here's Jesus, the King coming from our King. And he says, "Can anything come from good come from Nazareth?" Well, he's not really speaking of Nazareth. He's actually speaking of of Zebulun. Okay, of anybody here. So these people were really corrupted at that time, but he's going to be over here at this place. Let's see. It's not. I don't have it as a good PDF, but the object is a Zebulun here. Okay. And like I said, Jesus was here. He's going to come around here and he's going to go up here and then he's going to return and he's coming down here. Okay. Now I know he went up in here a little bit. So this map I've got drawn wrong. No, I got it drawn right. Okay. That's good. Now, so we know where Copernicus is at. Surely say no prophet is sought out in his hometown. Okay. Not as welcome, but as sought out. Example, Jesus is going to say that at the time of, I'm thinking it was Elijah. I don't know which one of the two, but he had only healed a captain from the Armenians who controlled Damascus, their capital city, but they were there. And they sent his captain to be healed, and he healed him, but everybody else that was sick did not seek him out. So I'm saying it's not that it's not welcome, that he was not sought out to be a healer. Just like there were many diseases in the days of Elijah. Okay, here, this is exact. Oh no, this is a story of Elijah, that when he goes, supposedly when the sky was shut up, the sky wasn't shut up. We know our Creator decides where everything is or goes and does. And a great famine over the land. He was sent to see in the land with that. This is saying that he went up into Lebanon, but where there were many lepers in the kingdom for Israel, and that would have been this time, and it's in the days for Elijah. See Elijah and Elijah. Now this he is the one that rode on the horses into the third heaven. But these here, story is not what I was just trying to explain to you. Here's the story. And it was Elijah. Yet not one of them were healed, not cleansed. Cleansing does not have anything to do with healing. Only Naaman, the Armenian commander. See, I had to put that in there. Now they say it was Syrian, but Syria didn't exist at this time. At this time, Elijah was there. So it was the Armenians, and he was a commander. For those of you who want to look that up, go ahead. I don't want to do that right now on this the text. I want to get involved here. But I will, when I put all the books together, I'm going to go through and I'm going to go and get these verses and put those verses into the text to show that this is the truth here. And he was a commander because he was at the table that when the king was asking them how we going to go to war for them, against them. And there's quite a bit of story about that. It's a very long story anyway. Heard these things. Heard these things? No, heard these words from Jesus. They were upset. Here I've got it just that it's Elijah, that there were many diseases in the days of Elijah, and they didn't seek after him. And there was also many lepers, and then it was Elijah, and because he's talking about the people here, because Elijah was somewhere in this area here, because this, you see, I have this as a city, okay? These dots are cities. And what happens is that there's this story. Okay, this is Samaria. Okay. Now, Samaria is the capital when it was here in Bethel. And then Jeroboam made it a pagan temple. So all you people at Bethel Church right now, you're in a pagan church, because that's what it was made as, a pagan church with the false idols. That the king came, the next king came up here, and he bought some land here. I've got that king here, because I've got this noted. Say Jeroboam, he became the first king of Israel and built the altar in Bethel. And this was the first capital for Israel. But down here, Omar made Samaria the second capital. And I think it was this guy here that paid 2 talents, or two pieces of gold, and they're large pieces of gold for this hill. Now, why am I saying that? That is Samaria. Let me see if because there's a story here that's really unique. Okay, here. Okay. Yeah, Omar buys the hill. Okay, not the other guy. But here is the story. There is a very unique story that dictates this location. And that is, I can't think of Jezebel's husband, king, but they're over here fighting for the Armenians, okay? And uh, Elijah, Elijah, he sends this captain to be anointed king, and all the commanders over there agree with him, and they're coming back to the capital city, because he's now king. He's going to replace the king that's here healing from the battle of the wounds that were over here. And there's a gate at the front that says that this guy says, I see riders coming, and I see the riding of one like Jehu. And this is King Jehu. The thing here is the king replies to him, send out a messenger and see if it's about peace now. Maybe they're coming back because it's peace. So they send out riders, and the guard says to him, they have met with him, but they've not returned. Now, the only place that this can exist is that they're riding on this hill, and this hill is high enough to overlook a river that they would have seen Jehu riding here somewhere. And I've got the bridge way up here to cross over, but it could have been through here. but they come down here and he's writing, and this is what this guy is reporting. And then the king goes out to meet him. So this is the only place that the visual distance of, a couple miles are being there to be witnessed by the guards saying this. So this is the true location of Samara. I don't care what you see or wherever, but the story is that how did this guard see where the king is resting, where the king has to be resting in the capital city? But it's so unique that um, the proof is by the words and the stories of the text that we're having here. Um, uh, and I'm trying to go over them for us today, for you today. I forgot to, during the lights on, only 16 minutes, I only forgot that. Now we have, and they rose up to throw him out of their village, not down a cliff, cast him out of the city. So this is and it's not a city, it's a village. Um, yeah, so it doesn't need to be, we're not going to throw him down no cliff. This is just all made up. But then he passed through them and went on his way. And so whatever their intent was, they just rose up to throw him out of the village, and he just walked right straight through them. Notice there was no disciples here at this place at this time. Yeah, this is almost like Jesus. Jesus is not with his disciples this time. I know Matthew or Mark had it that way, but this is the story that when you look at out of order, this shows that he doesn't have any disciples now. And in going through Capernaum, he picks up all kinds of, I think he gets all of his disciples. And yes, all of his disciples come from around Lake Galilee. Okay, passed through on his way, went down, and we went to Capernaum, the city by Lake Galilee. They taught them, and yet we know that that's wrong because the text is just completely out of order here. We had Satan. Yeah, it's just so confusing. But when the books get put together, you'll see a very nice story, and that text will be used correctly. Because he doesn't have any disciples. That's why that text is unique. Not his message, his gospel has authority. Jesus was teaching. Is about his kingdom. And just like me, when I keep telling you about how our Creator is not a liar, and he's made a promise to Abraham through his son's seed will become a king the whole earth will be blessed. And then to David through his son's seed will come their king. And that way they enter into heaven. They're all through Jesus is not a virgin birth. Okay. There was no virgin birth. In fact, I explain all that in a video below. So if you want to see me go through all the verses of all the text and all the truths, and I could add a few verses more as well. An unclean demon, the spirit of an unclean. Well, it's just a demon is a demon. What do we have to do with you? You come to remove me from them. Oh. This is when he went to Capernaum. They were amazed by his teaching. There was a male by his synagogue who was okay. But it doesn't exactly say where on his way to Capernaum. Of all the roads that I've got drawn, and these would have been most ancient roads, I don't have this group going here to say that there's a road that goes from Nazareth. That would have been just a small village. But there would have to be a road that they're talking about going here to go up to here. Okay, because he actually goes to here. So these are ancient roads that our creator's hidden formats reveal. Example, this road here that you see here, this is known as the highway. Okay, with all the rivers coming back and forth through the land, that this when it says the word highway, this is the road that goes through there, and I put it next to this river for the fact that they need to get water from time to time. And so when you see this coming through and traveling, they get to water again. They could have got water here, but the object is that this is the highway. Okay. Just for those, I just thought I'd note that for those that know that there's the word highway exists in the text. But he is declaring the Holy One from YV, and this would be, he doesn't cry out virgin birth, okay? Jesus commanded him, come out from him, don't not be quiet, but come out from him. Then the demon had threw him down to the land, not in their midst, but threw him down to the land, and came out of him without doing him any harm. Sorry, I'm reading this as kind of a loud. This text is just a double speak type of thing. I'm moving the word this from over here, this with one another, for his words, not his message, but his words. He commanded a demon, because here we know it's a demon up here, to come out from him. And they reported this to their surrounding area. Now, this is why I'm saying that this is a region, and the word area is around here. So the thing here is this is almost like one of the first hints that we see that they reported this to the surrounding area, meaning that they weren't used to Jesus casting out demons. So this is one of his first healings that he's doing, and this is new to them. So they reported this. Otherwise, if they would have heard that he could do this before, you wouldn't find this verse here. So when it comes to text to say what happened first, second, and third, we know we don't have any disciples right now, and in the text here in the last many verses, but now we have Jesus doing this on his own, and they're sending this information out to around their own little area there. So this is early text of Jesus doing a healing. Okay, now it has him back in Galilee because he finds Simon. He was a fisherman. I think he was mending his net. But anyways, at his home, mother-in-law was suffering a deadly disease, not a high fever, but a deadly disease. Now, why I'm saying it is deadly is because the text down here, that after he heals her, it says, when it's cleaned up, it says, before sunset, many sick and diseased were brought to him. Her neighbors would have known when people are dying, there's this, they knew that if they got a constant fever and it wasn't breaking and it wasn't uh, being relieved, death was going to happen soon. So her neighbors that would have been concerned would have been knowing about her and knew that she was passing away. So when Jesus heals her, then when it says here, and he rebuked her fever, and she rose and waited on them. To her neighbors to see her saying, going to the store real quick, grabbing some food to wait on them and stuff like this. And this is what I'm thinking the word waited means, that her people around her all of a sudden seen her. And she said, this guy just got done healing me just like that. All he did was told me the fever be gone and I'm okay here. So then they would have all trusted her because they witnessed that she had this deadly fever, that they were bringing many with other diseases and sickened diseases, and that he was touching them, laying his hands, was touching them. So he rebuked her fever, but then he was touching them with her hand. Should I change the word rebuke because he touched her and her fever left her? So that might be changed later just to keep the consistency of the story instead of Jesus saying your fever is gone. Here, their demons were coming out and many were crying and saying, you are their son from YHVH. Now, he would not have been rebuking them, telling them not to be known. He was there for this purpose of this year, the favorable year that he is to be announcing his gospel of his kingdom and all the truths about his kingdom and the promises our Creator made from him about Jesus having a kingdom in heaven. The key point is, if you understand our Creator's everlasting promises, you will find out that you can actually start from Adam and Eve, or no, you can start from Noah's time and see how it starts as a blessing and to be a favored person, or our Creator will be favorable to that person, which was Shem, because Noah had that a blessing and he passed it on to Shem. So the thing here is if you know all these, this path of these promises, you actually know the whole story. You know so much about the Bible, it's not funny. The true story of Jesus being born from man. And so Jesus, this here, they would not be denying or saying anything. So in the word Christ, he wouldn't be saying that either. Daylight, because day is night and daylight. So when daylight came, went to a lonely place to pray. I'm using that knowledge from the last book. But a crowd was searching for him, and this was Simon who had went out looking for him. And as they came to him, tried to keep him going. Here they're trying to keep him going away, but it wasn't a crowd. Yeah, because it doesn't have Simon being told you that he is a disciple yet. Okay, so here he's just saying he went to Simon's house. Okay, and now this story is saying that a crowd searched for him, um, and when they came to him, he told them, "I must go teach my kingdom from YV to other cities." And this is the purpose he was sent. No, it wasn't that he was sent for this purpose. Plain and simple, he was not sent just to proclaim his kingdom. He is sent for his kingdom, not for the purpose of his kingdom. Um, Jesus, Jesus was teaching. I'm sure you don't need me to explain these words here. I've told you why I'm changing that word to a region named Judah. So we have the understanding of the territory, uh, a crowd was pressing around him to listen to his words. And as he walked on the lake shore of Garnett, okay, now we're seeing that he's walking here, okay? So this has him coming up this road here. So there has to be this other village that he just got done through. Simon's place is along this road because now he's here, walking along the shore. And he saw two boats pulled to shore, not laying at the edge of the lake, but pulled to shore. And the fishermen were mending their nets. Yes, they could have been out on the shoreline mending their nets. I just have them mending their nets. And yes, you would have taken them out of the boat because you need to spread them out, and they wouldn't have been able to do that in the boat. So don't get carried away like they're in the boat. But he got into a boat which was Simon's, and no, he didn't get into their boat. Okay, he saw two boats pull ashore. The fisherman. Yeah, this is like he got into another boat that was Simon's. That he didn't get into either one of those boats, but he got in, which was Simon's, and asked him to push out a little way from the shore, from land, but it's actually shore. And then he sat to teach the crowd from his boat. So they were actually followed him. Now, I'm kind of at a loss because, okay, the crowd was pressing against him, or was pressing, or there by him. And so now he's on a boat, and he was teaching them from the boat. And when he had finished teaching, he told Simon not put out, but row out deeper to deeper water. And that means, I don't know, I've never been to Lake Gilly, so I don't know how far out that you have to go before the water gets deep. But the object is that you don't go into very deep water. The fish don't hang out as much at the top. They hang out as a school where they can go and get feeding along the edge, and then they'll come up closer onto the shore where all the little ones are trying to hide in the weeds, and then they'll come back down. But the object is that um, they're going to go out into deeper waters where they can put out their nets to catch fish. So don't think it's way out there. Okay, this could be maybe um, maybe 50 to 100 yards. Okay, And Simon said, "Teacher, we worked all night and didn't catch any. But at your request, we will put down our nets." Now here, how did Simon, how did you, because when you look at the story up here, um, he entered Simon's house. Well, now he's saying he was out fishing. So the text here, this looks like this should be first, and then he goes to his house, okay? So the text is confusing that way. But we will put out our nets. So there's another person with him, okay? And when they did, there was a lot of fish in the net. Not a great quantity, but a lot of fish. And let's put it this way, if you don't throw out cut up fish, which we today call chumming, that they throw out the chum for the fish to come and eat, and then take the net and then scoop them up. So these boats, if there's only one boat out there, these boats have to have like a guide to go across to have this net being able that they can circle it all the way around by themselves in this boat and then pull them up. Now, so here it has to say, and they had to signal their friends to come help them. See, this is why I'm saying that to throw out this net and pick them up. This net is very large, and they're trying to scoop it up. So the boat has to have these features that they can take the net and string it out around the edge. And it's just probably loops that they're pulling the rope and making this net go around. The net is on loops, and then they're pulling these loops to go around to make this loop where they throw the chum into the water, and then the fish come in and they'll seal it up, and then they got another rope that brings the bottom together, okay? And now they're trying to pick this up and gather it from the bottom, and they've got these a lot of fish to where they needed some help with this, okay? Then Simon and Peter. So Peter was the one that was with him in the boat, fell at Jesus' feet, or bowed at Jesus' feet, which means to put one knee to the ground and keep his head down to Jesus' feet. This here, he doesn't need to say anything like this. And because his companions, because of the catch of the fish which they had taken, this does not need to be said. It doesn't need to be into the text. You'll see that it doesn't take away from the text when the book gets put together. So James and John, the sons of Zebedee, they were the friends of Simon. So you now know that those were the ones that came over. From now on, you will be catchers of man. And then I had to add the words, "Come, follow me." So when they brought their boats to the shore, they went with him. That followed him then, but they went with him because he had to tell them to go with him. Okay. Well, he was in the city. There was a male with, he was full of leprosy. Okay. He had leprosy. And when he fell before him, and said, you can see that these words they don't need to be said. And said, "My Lord, will you make me healthy?" So this text would have been that, yes, he had heard about the people bringing him to Simon's house. And so now he's one that heard about it, and he wanted to be not clean, but healthy. Okay, not clean, healthy. You can't clean leprosy away. Mhm. For all you that think every word in the Bible is true, to explain how cleaning leprosy is what you would want if you were a leper, by one who is touching people and healing them of their disease and getting rid of demons. Um, yes, he touched them and said, "Be healthy." Not Jesus didn't say be cleansed. That's just funny to me. And leprosy was gone. And now here again, he ordered him not telling anyone. No, Jesus is not telling people not to talk about him. That's what he's there to do, because he's now go show yourself to your priest for him to offer your offering as commanded for your testimony. Now, Moses didn't command it. It's our creator. So don't get worried about me getting rid of the word Moses. Moses didn't command it. Our creator commanded it. That's why it's all capital letters. Yes, Moses would have wrote it down, but Moses did not command it. Now, this also means that he is supposed to go all the way down to Jerusalem, okay? So Jesus is starting to send messengers to Jerusalem to excite them down there that, what? This guy says he's a leper and he's offering this offering, and we've never had that. Let's look that up in the book. What are we supposed to do? I mean, I can just see that why Jesus is sending them down there to stir it up down there in Jerusalem. Started sending witnesses down there. News about Jesus was spreading. See, this is like Jesus is still not known all over the place, okay? And the crowds were gathering to him to hear and to be healed of their sickness, to hear what he was saying and then to be healed of their sickness. Okay, that I have to leave it there. I'm going a little bit farther than I should today, but pick up right here and you can see what's going to happen to this text. So, but, oops, that isn't what I wanted to do. Oh, so it happens when the cursors slip around. Why? Anyways,